Alright guys, good afternoon. As you can see, I am not in the woods, I'm in my hut in Surrey. It's been a funny week. I was due to be in Copenhagen at the Money 2020 conference. I got invited to try to travel there using only Bitcoin, which I began to do on Monday, and after 8 hours of sitting on my laptop, this happened. All went well, transaction went through, my first Bitcoin transaction, booyah! Half an hour later, I get an email from Cheap Air. Urgent. Please give us a call. We need to talk to you about your booking. The transaction took so long to get blocked, they ended up giving my seat away to someone else. So I decided to send them a video of the fail instead of missioning all the way there. Then I had a great day in the woods with one of my sister's friends who came over for her wedding on the weekend. And yesterday I spent an amazing day in the woods with some friends from UCL, the course director Carl and a few of the alumni from the first year of the Basque Bachelors in Arts and Sciences course that I guest lectured on last year, and they've asked me to go back and do the lecture again this year on my theory of intelligence, which I'm really excited about. If you didn't catch it, Steve Booker put out the video this week in conversation with about the 24 hours he spent with me in Corcovado. Here's a little clip.
How do we do an on and off grid lifestyle?
Yeah.
So when we're off, we are all the way deep. We are in it and we're present. Like when you came last time, we're just spending hours on the slack line, just messing around, enjoying being childlike again, really. But then when you're on, it's like the Matrix. I'm like plugged in and I'm like...
And in that I go more into what it is to do on and off grid living. And I guess there is a lot that I could say about what I'm doing in the woods. It's part personal exploration, it's part thinking about society, it's part a spiritual exploration, it's reading, it's learning, it's spending time walking with people, it's learning how to build and how to grow things and learning to get to know the neighbours, and there's so much you can say, but I think the one thing that binds it all together is this simple idea of living on and off grid. Not just trying to go backwards to a simple old school lifestyle, but appreciating the analog space for what it is, not trying to constantly be merging the two worlds, but appreciating the biological depth that we get when we connect with the analog world, and the breadth and incredible opportunity to connect and learn when we connect into the matrix, the digital world. So first question from Andreas Stein. What will happen with Corcovado after your year living there? Both myself and the landlord who owns the WISTON estate that I'm currently perched on and Corcovado currently exists within have both only committed to a 1-year experiment, a personal voyage to see what happens and what I learn. As I've always said, Corcovado is a state of mind. It is not a geographical location. It may change and hopefully it will grow and spots of Corcovado could spring up all over the world. I guess what I've been doing this year is painting a picture by roughly learning basic skills and creating some veggies over here and some furniture over there and a hut over here. A real life painting that I'm on the inside of, that is living and breathing, and I'm inviting people in as my guests for 24, 36, 48 hours to come and join me. As you would know if you saw my video about the plan, I made a critical choice that I don't want to do this journey alone. People often talk to me about Walden and Henry David Thoreau's 2-year experiment. And if I think about what the second year would look like with Corcovado, I don't think I want that to be on my own. And that's why I invited you guys in to join on Patreon, again as a kind of experiment to see whether the community want to come together and build Corcovado, both digitally with ideas, intelligence and funding, but also practically. That's why we've been doing the work parties, bringing people in to come and help build, develop and build things like the dance floor and contribute to the hut and things like that. And it really feels at the moment like it's working, that people both locally want to come and visit, like with the Unknown Inquiry and with the work parties, but also from a distance people want to put capital in. They want some of the publications that are coming out from Corcovado, like the handbook or the documentary or the music that's been coming out from the sessions in the woods, and also having a chance to interact with what activities actually go on in Corcovado. I know for me, some of the books that you guys have sent me have massively informed my thinking and philosophy, and it feels like a deeply woven social experiment that we're all in together. I guess the things I'm learning around community participation digitally and in the analogue, I guess we may be able to take that further if we incorporate some structures and technologies that better represent that kind of egalitarian or equal kind of philosophy around the community. The short answer is that I do not have a plan for year 2 yet. I am looking at different solutions and different ideas, some of which I've shared in the vlogs. I can't imagine leaving this world altogether and going back to a normal life, but I'm learning more every day through my experiences and interactions with you guys. When I know, you will know very shortly afterwards. But that is part of the journey and the process, is to figure this out one step at a time. Wendy McWoo says, are you intending on growing all your own produce in future, and have you thought of a poly tent? One of the key architectural choices so far in the woods, because of where I am, is to keep everything really light and agile and movable so that I could be out of there within 24 hours, 48 hours if I had to. So I'm not building any structures onto the ground or into the ground. Everything could just be lifted and taken, or it's on wheels. I've been growing veg this year as an experiment. We had our first baguettes with spinach in it that I grew the other day. This week we've had the first produce where literally I've taken the spinach leaves and put them in our baguettes and made food that we've eaten and shared together as a group, which felt incredible, I must say. I've really enjoyed growing potatoes. I think potatoes, as opposed to all the other vegetables that I've been growing, are really substantial, are really robust, and they really, you know, fill you up. So it feels like you're growing proper sustenance. I've realised that even veggies and vegans, everybody likes potatoes, and it fills people up and keeps them going. I don't know if I'm ever going to be an incredible farmer, but I would like to major in potatoes and some of the seasonings and thyme and rosemary and stuff like that that goes on top, and mint for tea and things like that. But I'm hoping to forge a better relationship next year with a working local farm and support their produce, and maybe bring some digital tools like I've done with Ali, bring some digital tools to the rural environment and kind of build a better connection rather than trying to do it all myself. Simon Mickles says, hey Dave, a very simple question here. Could I come and give you a hand on the land? Just ping an email on the YouTube channel. There's an email address there. Ping that. I'll let you know when the next work party is. I love having people coming together. The last 2 guys that came to meet for the work party ended up making a plan to help each other out as well, which is what I really love about the network, is not just people coming to connect with Corcovado and with me, but by doing that, also making their own connections. Same with the Unknown Inquiry. Everybody got in each other's cars and went off to find more adventures together, which I absolutely love. That is the network effect of getting people to connect together, which is far more powerful, much more robust, and far more long-term than just being dependent on what I'm up to or what's going on in this specific bit of woodland. And for that matter, if any of you are working on an alternative or imaginative setup for housing or transport using progressive technologies or simple ways, do send me a line. I would love to come and check it out and see what I can learn, maybe get some exposure for your project as well. It's always inspiring to go and meet different people doing different things and bringing that content into the channel as well. Tammy Clark says, my youngest wants to know if compost loo smells funny. She's 8 and all about bodily functions. Listen, I'm 31 and I'm all about bodily functions still. In seriousness, when I made the first composting loo, the alfresco loo as I like to call it, I didn't know whether the YouTube videos I was watching were just hippies saying, oh, it's fine, yeah, we don't need this stuff, but actually it stinks. But in practice, after a few months of using it and other people using it, I can tell you that it honestly, the alfresco loo, you cannot smell at all. But I will say the thing I've learned since building the new toilet in the hut with the window that can handle the 1s and 2s with the separator, what I realised the other day when people have been accidentally putting sawdust down the number 1 pipe, I realised no one else is going to fix this. I have to fix it. 1, it's my responsibility, and 2, I am the only one who knows how to fix it because I'm the one who built it. I mean, obviously people could figure it out, but it is my job. So for the first time in my life, I wasn't just cleaning a toilet with a bog brush. I was getting right in there and dealing with the nitty-gritty part of life. And there was something strangely satisfying about that, but also it was rank, frankly, and not something I want to spend my days doing day in, day out, but probably all part of the education and the real end of the nice platitudes that I would say at the beginning of this project. Helena Zem says, how do you maintain basic hygiene? Do you wash your clothes, etc. while in the woods? How do you take care of this aspect? That is a great question. We're 9 months into this year now, and pretty much with the dance floor, the slackline, the hanging tent, the original hut and the new hut we're building, the vegetables, I've pretty much got everything set up out there that I wanted. The only 2 things we're missing are things that heavily rely on water. A shower, a nice hot shower, and a contraption to wash clothes in. Both of those are really heavily dependent on water, which I don't have much water. I have to wheel my 50-gallon barrel over to the neighbour who lets me use his tap kindly. but I don't want to use it more than I currently am, which is just for the vegetables and for drinking and for washing and cleaning my dishes. So I don't shower on site. I mean, I've held the watering can a couple of times over my head to get fresh when it's been really, really hot the last few weeks. But I shower when I go and play squash down at the sports centre twice a week. And before I play squash, I go over to my friends and take my clothes and put it in their washing machine. I guess the first stage for me has been about moving dependency from my normal Surrey house to Sussex. Yeah, I guess the next stage is trying to get full sustainability of food and water, heating, cleaning, all from within the land that I'm actually staying. But we're not there yet, and it's a process. Lauren says, what is the best and worst thing you've experienced so far? I think to answer the best thing, I have to ask myself, what is the rarest experience that really would not have ever occurred unless I was able to be completely alone in the woods with no one and nothing else there? I remember one evening where I walked not just along the path but directly into the woodland in the pitch black late at night, about midnight, just on my own with no torch or candles or anything, walking very, very slowly, so that if any branches come near my face, I'm going so slow that I can sort of feel them and move away from them. But that was a really odd experience, knowing that I was completely alone, that my senses were completely dampened. And for me, that's where I really feel like I connect with what some people call God. And on the other side, the worst thing I've had to do is probably having to empty that clogged up piss pipe. Great question from Alison. Are you living full-time at Corcovado now? When I first envisioned having an on and off-grid lifestyle, I imagined that we'd have incredible connectivity of phone and internet, but that we would only have it on for 4 to 8 hours a day, and then it would be like, boo, powered down and forced to connect back into the analog reality, back into nature. But because the woods has no cell reception for me and no internet, I kind of manage an on and off-grid lifestyle by going into the woods and coming back out. I would find it lonely if I spent 3 days in the woods without leaving and without seeing anybody at all. You know, I have really built an inner journey, a kind of an introverted side of who I am, but I still really thoroughly enjoy talking with people, conversing with people, making music, seeing people. I care about other people, so it doesn't suit me to be a complete hermit. I think what it is for me is finding that balance of 50-50. So in practice, I end up living about half the week in the woods, half the week in the normal modern society. Domon Bizyak, will you show your expenses on material or some other costs you have? I would be really happy to, and I think the new hut is coming in at sort of £8,000, £7,000, something like that, all in. I think basically you would have change from 10 grand building a 24-foot hut. But let me know more specifically what you're thinking about and I will try and get you those numbers. I really like being transparent with numbers. I don't like being obsessed by money, but I know it's a helpful part of the education. The Future Pen says, what is your average monthly or yearly budget? I can't say that I've set out with a clear budget. I'm just trying to do things as cheaply and as frugally as possible. I've been lucky that I'm getting so much help. Like next week I'm picking up a mattress, which a mattress company has sent me so that I can make a little video for them, but obviously I need the mattress for the new hut, so that saved me 500 quid, which I'm really chuffed about. Recycled windows. Sometimes when I have guests, I'm paying for everything, sometimes they pay for things, so I don't have a clear budget, but I can tell you one thing's for sure, I'm spending less now than I've ever spent before, and the money I am spending is going into the hut. And that hut is probably worth twice as much as the money I'm spending on it. So it feels like life has got a lot simpler. My finances have got simpler. They're not spiraling out of control. And the space and time I have for quality interactions with loved ones and new friends feels like 5-10 times more than I've ever had in my life before, which feels great. Alfie Days says, since living off-grid, how many eggs have you consumed? Well, I'll have you know, Mr. Days, that since I've learned how to cook pasta with mascarpone sauce and mozzarella and fresh courgettes, haven't cooked up any eggs at all. My culinary skills are getting better by the week, and I've cooked for 5, 6, 7 people now, and since the Unknown Inquiry, we've got more tools, so have that. And to finish, Alexis says, what is the future for Corcovado? I think, in reality, that comes down to us. I want Corcovado to be an incredible, life-bringing place that is inclusive and intimate and allows a creative flourishing. I would love some of the most progressive ideas to come out of this community, both digitally and the geographical location. Because we're living simply and connecting in with nature, hopefully that will spark ideas that could never have been conceived otherwise. So hopefully there will be a second year to this experiment. Hopefully it looks very different to the first year, and I hope that you will continue to be a part of it. Next week we've got Josh coming back to help me accelerate the hut for 2 days. I'll show you the first window that we've put in. I've bought the ingredients to make a DIY drone, which I cannot wait to show you. Not quite like other people's drones, but I got so excited throwing my phone up that I want to take it one step further, so I'll show you that. And we're picking up the mattress, so I'll start thinking about how to build the bed inside the hut. I hope answering some of these questions is helpful for you. Please don't stop sending me ideas for pallets and other inventions. If you've got ideas for how to do a cool shower or clothes washing machine once I get more water, then please do send them. We will be opening up the Patreon to more people at some point, but for now I just wanted to keep it small to make sure we do it right and get the right feedback so that I don't disappoint anybody. I will see you next Thursday at 9 PM. Take care of yourselves and look after each other.